Hey everybody, welcome back to I Stutter, my YouTube channel, where we're gonna talk about stuttering, stammering, and everything speech impediment as I'm going on my nightly walk. Let's continue to talk about fear, stuttering fear, that is. The track is that way, so let's go ahead and head over there. We are taking a slightly different road or route to the track. We're going this way instead. And there it is. Hopefully there's not a whole lot of people out there. All right. It is Sunday afternoon and I see some familiar faces out there jogging and walking. So yeah, guys, as I start to stretch, let's talk about stuttering fear. And today we're going to talk about something I like to call time anxiety. All right, I've done enough stretching. So let's talk about it. Time anxiety. First of all, what is time anxiety? Not sure exactly that if it's something that every stutterer does experience or will experience, but I know that it's something that I go through whenever I am stuttering. So what is it? This is a feeling that you get during the moment when you're having difficulty. So what happens is that once you start to have problems being fluent, whether you're stuck on a word or you keep on repeating one syllable, you will start to feel something, feel a certain way. What you will start to feel is, for every time that you stutter or while you are stuck in your block, for every second that will pass by, the second will feel like it's 1 minute. For every minute that passes by, that minute will feel like an hour. So whenever that happens, the feeling that you get is like a feeling of fear that the person that you're speaking to is going to lose interest, or you're going to lose face, or you won't be taken seriously. And it's a very, very difficult thing to get over, because when you feel like that, there's a kind of anxiety that comes over that forces you to want to hurry up and say it, which is going to make your speech worse, because if you're stuck and then now you let yourself become overwhelmed with that feeling of time anxiety, that makes you kind of want to speed up and make things worse. So that's what happens when you experience that. So that feeling of fear that comes around you because you're stuck, and every second feels like a minute, every minute feels like an hour, and you just want to hurry up and say it, kind of make things worse for you. So why is it important to consider time anxiety? That's because this is one of the hallmarks of stuttering, is the urge to hurry up and say it, which I'm sure that as a person with a with a speech impediment that at some point in your life you've heard somebody say the very same thing to you. Spit it out, right? Or hurry up and say it. So this time anxiety does create a fear. So now that we understand what that is, so I'm gonna give you the recommendations. Let me start again because of this music in the background. All right, so now that we have identified what time anxiety is, and now I'm gonna give you my recommendations of how to go about dealing with it. And the sun has set. So as a person with a speech impediment, lots of times, when you're speaking or reading, which word that chances are which word that you're gonna get stuck on. So here's what I do. Once I start to get stuck, whether it's a block or it's a repetition, usually I do this right before the actual word is I like to stop and pause and actually take a breath and don't start on purpose. And those extra few seconds where that you should start speaking or start saying the word and you don't, at least for me, what it does, the time anxiety just goes away. It goes down because it's like there's something about it. Like, for example, the other day I was at church and, we had to take turns reading verses from the Bible. And the verse I had was a relatively short verse, but I think it was like 3 sentences. And so, prior to my turn, I was breathing into my nose and out of my mouth, which is a technique that I talked about in another video. And I was calming myself down, trying to make myself as calm as I possibly can before my turn. And once my turn came, I slowly started and it went well. But after I read the second sentence, I can sense that I was gonna get stuck on the first sentence. So on the third sentence rather. So what I did is I didn't read the third sentence. I actually waited. I took a pause, and the pause was actually uncomfortable. And of course, right then and there, I felt the time anxiety, and I can see from the corner of my eye that the lady who was behind me, because I was standing, and then she kind of leaned over. She was sitting behind me. She leaned over to look up at me, but I was able to see that, and still I resisted to start speaking. So I took about 30 seconds, which was an uncomfortable pause, and then the time anxiety just subsided. And as a result, I was able to say the last sentence fluently, which for me, I think it's worth it because you have a choice. You can try to say things fast and stumble, or wait for the anxiety to go away and you say it. And I gotta say, waiting for my time anxiety to go down was a challenge because it created a fear, because I was afraid what the people were gonna think about me. And it crosses your mind, like, what are they thinking? Or, man, I can't believe this is happening. But these things are fairly easy to control and work through. So I'm not sure that if time anxiety is something that you go through, but let me know in the comments if you go through it. And that's my way of fighting it. And the more you do it, the easier that it will get. Just remember that unless there's a fire, people will wait to hear what you have to say. And sometimes it is better to say things on your own time and wait for that time anxiety. Do not fall for it, as in to feel like you must spit it out, as people like to famously say, because they are wrong. Because if you try to spit it out, you're just gonna have a harder time. Yeah, so there it is. This is my video on stuttering fear, and today we've covered time anxiety, and I hope this was beneficial to you, because again, everybody stutters for different reasons, have different triggers, and that doesn't mean that you have this issue. And if you do, it doesn't mean that my way of doing things is the correct way. But if you have a thought process about that, like if there's something else that works for you, please share it in the comments below. I hope that this video was helpful to you, and until then, I will see you on the next one. I hope you guys have a great week and go out there and crush it.